We're here for you. Good night.
Typhoon recovery updates are brought to you by Burger King, reminding island residents to keep informed and stay safe. IT&E, connections that matter. KFC, it's finger licking good. And SPPC 76 Circle K, take it easy.
Half a day, I'm Atsuki Hirayama. You're watching KUAM News Weekend Edition. Thanks for joining us. As the Joint Information Center has transitioned to recovery releases, our Jason Solis keeps you informed with the latest.
Buenas and half a day, everybody. Jesse Alig is not only the municipal leader of the central village of PD, he's also the president of the Mayor's Council of Guam. He's someone who's been very, very busy post Typhoon Sinlaku. So, Mayor, Prim, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Okay.
Glad we could do this here.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously it's been a very, very tense time for our people. Let's start at the micro level first. Here in the village of PD, geographically and personality-wise, so much of the character of this village is a seaside community, and it's a shoreline community. So, what damages, if any, did the community suffer?
A lot of the shoreline is damaged, right? You'll see that a lot of Marine Corps Drive, all of the ocean kind of came in all the way through, and so everyone living on the coastal side certainly received the biggest damage. I think our park, where our festival is going to be, was kind of damaged. It was damaged because of the ocean water. So there wasn't a lot of rain this time around, but the ocean certainly came in. So big damage there.
Oh, okay, but probably one of the things that probably a lot of people are thinking of was the church damaged.
No, the church was not, as far as I know, and I've spoken to our representative over there, and everything seems to be okay.
Okay.
Of course, it's the shrubbery, the trees that can be taken care of, but no big damage in the church.
Also, something interesting is there's a river that goes like right through there, and we're seeing in a lot of the villages, not just here in PD, like a lot of the vegetation backed up, like causing the river to overflow. Did you guys have that problem?
So, we didn't flood this time around. Okay. So that was a good thing. Thank goodness we really didn't. I think Malwar was so traumatic because we flooded like this entire area in the village proper, but there wasn't any flooding reports that I know of. And I didn't see anything visibly flooded, at least not in the village proper.
Okay, and now zooming out for like the larger communities of Guam. Of course, you are the head of the Mayor's Council and everything. What are all of your colleagues saying about needs in their communities and from north, central, south?
I think the bigger issue this round is really the utility service, power and water. I think, for the most part, most had water throughout, and then afterwards there was some difficulty with water service in some villages, I think even up to now. And but power is being slowly restored, but that's the bigger issue. But you know what it is? It's kind of the comforts of life, right? So we're so used to power 24 hours a day, and so now with a few hours, maybe even a few days without power gets uncomfortable. And so I think my colleagues realized that the GPA crews and GWA crews are working, 24/7 as much as they can to get all of their services restored. But it's just never fast enough, right? So if you're out of power, out of water, the inconvenience is difficult to
Some
handle.
people would say 5 minutes without it is 4 minutes too long.
Exactly.
But those crews are real island heroes, and they are working hard on it. And it's going to come back real soon.
Right. They are, and that's the beauty about technologies that we've been keeping in touch. So that's a big difference this time around.
Okay. Is there a message that you want to pass down to villagers from any of the islands, municipalities about, like where we are right now? And then more importantly, like also what is the local mayor's council doing to rally and help our brothers and sisters up in the CMI?
So I think the big message right now is trash, green waste disposal, and any trash related to the storm. We're not picking up. There's no curbside pickup, and there's going to be a transition site in Oka that everybody knows, And so that's the only site that will be collecting
Okay.
all of this trash. There'll be some villages that will have temporary staging sites. Not all 19 villages will have temporary staging sites.
Now, speaking of one of your colleagues, you were saying that Mayor Kevin Siswico is actually the delegate for the Greater Marianas Mayors Association and everything like that. So there are plans in place to help Saipan.
So he's the president of the Association of Mariana Islands Mayors, and so we do plan to have some type of effort from the 19 mayors on Guam to help our brothers and sisters in the Marianas, because we preach about one Marianas, and we talk about that a lot, and we're all family, and so they were definitely hit hardest, and we want to be able to come up with some type of effort to assist their
Have you spoken directly to the mayors of Roatini or Saipan directly?
I have not, but Mayor Kevin has.
Okay.
Yeah, Mayor Kevin has definitely reached out to Mayor of Saipan and Mayor of Tinian.
Okay, we'll follow up with Mayor Kevin and find out about those conversations, as of course our prayers and our thoughts and our love go up to our friends in the CNMI. Okay, so wrapping up mayor and everything, what should people know about how they can get involved though? Because this isn't just everything falls on the mayor's offices. The utilities agency are doing their thing, the telecommunications companies are doing what they can. What can we as villagers do so and in a safe manner to help rebuild our villages?
So I think in most people know that they can reach out to their mayor. They could reach out because every mayor has a different approach to what they want to do, how they want to continue their recovery efforts. And if you reach out to your mayor, that you probably help out that way the best. But if I could say that for us in PD, we had our festival, our sea festival that was coming up.
That's right.
It was actually supposed to be today and tomorrow, April 18 and 19.
Keyword was.
It was, yeah, but it's going to be May 30th and 31st.
Okay.
So that's going to be a big deal, and we'll talk to you more about that.
And they know how to throw a party down here. Trust me. I've been to some like their cooking cooking competitions and everything, and that is like next level. And as they say down here in this wonderful Central Islandville, PD Pride.
Biba.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you too.
In Island Health News, the Guam Memorial Hospital reports it remained fully operational through Super Typhoon Sinlaku, continuing to deliver care without interruption. The hospital says no major structural damage was sustained, with generator power keeping critical services stable throughout the storm. While minor leaks and localized flooding occurred, environmental services and facility maintenance teams responded quickly to address them. There were no injuries reported among staff or patients, and no storm-related fatalities. This according to the Guam Memorial Hospital Authority, and 135 inpatients received continuous care between April 13th and 16th as condition of readiness 1 remained in effect. An additional 19 expectant mothers were admitted during Core 1, and delivering some happy news, GMH shares that 10 babies were born during the storm response period. As the island transitioned to Core 4 on Thursday, GMH has now resumed normal operations, including elective outpatient and clinical services, visitation, and family viewing, effective Friday, April 17. Well, as Guam begins the road to recovery after Typhoon Sinlaku, some of the island's most familiar public spaces are now off limits. From parks to shorelines, the Department of Parks and Recreation has closed all public parks indefinitely as crews race to assess damage, clear debris, and make these spaces safe again. But the biggest concern remains what you can't always see: strong currents and hazardous water conditions still putting lives at risk in the storm's aftermath. Jonigan Charfus reports.
What may look like a return to normal is far from it. In the wake of Typhoon Sinlaku, some of Guam's most popular public spaces remain closed, as hidden dangers linger across the island. The Department of Parks and Recreation has shut down all public parks until further notice, as crews conduct mandatory damage assessments and begin cleanup operations. DPR Deputy Director Warren Pelletier.
After the governor and lieutenant governor put out the Core 4 notice, all of our staff came in and we had a meeting with all of them. We've learned from the Typhoon Marwar, Typhoon Marwar, and what we did then is we separated into 4 different groups, and then we had assigned all these groups to different areas, north, central, south, and some other historical parks and monuments. That's through SHPO. And that we assigned everybody, each group, to go out there and do initial preliminary assessments, starting from the most frequented and the parks that are most frequented by locals and visitors.
Pelletier says most of the staff have completed assessments.
They're going to compile that information, put it in a format that we used in the past typhoons.
Officials say the priority is safety, not just for the public, but also for first responders working through unstable conditions. And while the skies may be clearing, the ocean tells a different story. DPR is warning residents to stay out of the water as strong currents and post-storm conditions continue to pose a serious threat.
Joan, this is the thing that the people of Guam have to realize. A lot of them don't know how to swim. A lot of them think they know how to swim, and there's a lot of surfers that go out there and want to try to swim in these conditions. It is dangerous. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is a dangerous situation. The winds are hazardous out there, and we cannot afford to put our first responders, our park police, or our lifeguards, VSOs in jeopardy. Even at Ipao Beach, there's a huge surge of water coming in. When it comes in, it has to go somewhere. And it's either going to go left or right. And when you get caught in that tidal surge going left or right, you won't be able to touch the ground. Even if you do, it's just still going to sweep you off your feet.
Parks will reopen in phases, but only after they're deemed safe. Until then, maintenance crews will continue cleaning debris and repairing damage across multiple sites. At Tiguac Cemetery, cleanup efforts, while burial services will continue as scheduled. The grounds remain closed to the general public, with officials estimating about a week before it can safely open. The storm also left its mark on DPR facilities, including the main office and Paseo de Susana Stadium, both of which sustained significant damage. Officials are asking for patience as cleanup and assessments continue, reminding the community that staying away now will help ensure these spaces can safely reopen soon.
We just want to make sure that the general public is safe. Now, we're going to focus on Paseo, Ipao, and Matapang first because those are the frequented parks.
The Department of Parks and Recreation say additional updates will be provided as conditions improve.
And staying with the Department of Parks and Recreation, DPR has temporarily closed the Dededo Pool following impacts from Typhoon Sinlaku. Officials say the facility will be drained and thoroughly cleaned to remove storm debris, dirt, and trash before undergoing a full safety inspection. Crews will check for any damage to the pool structure and decking, including cracks or surface issues. If damage is found, resurfacing may be required before the pool can reopen. The closure is expected to last at least 2 weeks, but could extend longer depending on the condition of the facility. DPR says updates will be provided as assessments continue. Well, post-secondary classes at the Guam Community College will resume Monday, April 20th as regularly scheduled. College officials say any changes will be announced through local media and the GCC website. Students with questions are encouraged to contact their instructors or academic advisors. GCC also urges students to continue monitoring their MyGCC accounts and official social media channels at Guam CC for the latest updates. Well, stick around. We have more coming up on Weekend Edition. You're watching KUAM.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Oh, you can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Freedom, that's a cheap thing. Freedom to ignore this, that's a cheap thing. Sacrificing facial hair to nature and involuntary blood donations, cheap things. No one signs up for an 800-pound bear chase. But if it happens, cheap thing. VIP parking, exfoliating, treating gravity like a suggestion, saying, it'll dry. Free-range parenting, forgetting if that's a moose or an elk, all cheap things. Remembering without saying it. Couldn't be more of a cheap thing. Sweating your tail off, freezing your tail off, an American saving another American's tail. Cheap things. Making a cheap vehicle for only people with cash like him? Not a cheap thing. Or confusing capability with unaffordability? No, not a cheap thing. Making adventure affordable? Now that's a cheap thing. So we're bringing you more cheap things this year, because cheap things should be everyone's thing.
Half a day, everyone. My name is Janice Carrasco with KUAM News. I am with Mr. Frank Blas. We're here today at the former LBJ, and we're here because there is a local drive where we're getting together supplies that are needed for due to the Sinlaku storm. And if you could talk to us a little bit about what the organization that you guys have going on today and what is needed.
The primary organization is the Azuda Foundation. We've been doing this since Azuda has been around. And today's drive is a combination of getting much needed relief supplies to the islands of islands of Chuuk, in Chuuk, and then also in Saipan and Tinian and Rota. And so what this drive is doing is getting the supplies from people and loading them up so that we can send them out.
Wonderful. Have a lot of people have started, and we have started to see some of the supplies coming in. What are some of the supplies that are needed or that are being requested?
Well, primarily there's water, non-perishable food, and toiletries. That's what our focus is on. And as we speak, we're getting 4 pallets of water already put on a Coast Guard plane. And sending it up to the CNMI that'll be there this afternoon for them. We haven't had contact with them, but in our initial conversations prior to the storm, there was what they would believe to be an immediate need, and so we were hoping to address that with the water that's going up to them. So as you can see, one of the things that we're starting to do is, as the donations start to come in, we separate them out between the CNMI and Chuuk, and then we'll palletize them, put them in the containers, and get them ready to go out.
So we see that some of the things that are needed. What are some of the things that maybe people want to come in and donate, and they think that maybe I can donate this, but maybe something that you guys are not taking?
Well, I can tell you what we're not taking. We're not taking any of the hazardous materials,
such as
obviously, anything that's combustible. Okay. Not taking anything that's got acid base for cleaning. We're not taking any ammunition, gunpowder or whatnot, explosives, any weapons. We're not taking any of that. We're asking that, for clothing donations, that, these aren't, clothes that are dirty and stuff. I mean, let's have a little bit more respect for these people. The food is obviously, we don't want anything that's gotten already expired. And then if you've got, water, I mean, right now, like I said, our main focus is on water, non-perishable food, and in some cases, tarps.
Okay. Yes.
Because people are going to need them for, for their for living. That's what we're focusing on right now.
What is the most challenging thing that you have seen so far?
Well, the challenging thing is getting the coordination. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to get a hold of anybody at the CNMI. Their communications are still down. So hearing from them, first of all, if they're okay, if they're safe, and then what are their immediate needs, and and so that we can try to address those immediately. Obviously, while we say they need water, they may need some other stuff as well. As soon as we get that, we'll put a call out, to the community to be able to assist.
Spring is here, and it's blooming with savings at Kmart Guam. Step into the season with fresh styles for the whole family. Tackle your spring to-do list with tools for every project. Get everything you need to be spring ready. Find it all this season at Kmart Guam.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
On the Game is presented by Gatorade. on the field, on the court, in the game. But what happens beyond the game? Get stories behind the stats, the players behind the plays, and the teams making an impact on and off the field. Join us every weekend on KUAM News Weekend Edition for Beyond the Game, because sports are more than just a score. Only on KUAM, Guam's leader in sports coverage, Beyond the Game is presented by Gatorade. Half a day, everybody. I'm Jason Salas. Now, anytime I get to hang out with, our national teams in any sport, I always jump at the opportunity. And I have three of our very best, 2 players, 1 coach, who are over in Puerto Rico right now. They had a match against the host nation just the other day, and we are setting up for a match against American Samoa. We have Nainoa Norton in the middle, Coach Ross Awa, and then Kai Paul. So, boys, thank you for joining me, man. And, the time difference is kind of weird and everything like that, but I appreciate you guys giving me some of your time.
Yeah, really happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Okay, interestingly enough, we'll start with Nainoa and Kai. You guys are traveling from, for playing in college and everything like that, meeting the guys out there. Not so much of a far trip for you guys, but, how do you guys maintain, maintain the chemistry, the communication, and make sure that you guys are all locked in and on the same page?
Yeah, we've all known each other for a very long time. So, once we get back into the groove, it's just like normal,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we also we come in a bit early for camp, so we get some time to get used to each other and figure each other's play styles because we haven't played in a while, and that really helps us get ready for competition. Okay, and then Coach, you've actually given me the privilege of attending some of your practices and everything like that, which are really, really intense. How do you maintain that tempo and that readiness and really make sure that the boys are getting the most out of themselves and working as a coherent unit?
Well, for most of the players, actually, the ones that are overseas, not just in stateside, I do have some players in Japan, but also in Germany as well. I do check in with them to see how they're doing, and make sure that their programs are on top of things as well, to make sure that when we do get together, that everybody's on the same page. So as much as possible, I do check-ins with the players at least every month.
Mm. Okay, and for the players, I got to tell you guys, boys, man, you youngsters have no idea what it was like for me and Coach, way back when we actually had to make long distance calls. Yeah. You guys have no idea how lucky you guys have it with WhatsApp.
For real, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
Okay, so let's recap the game versus the host nation, Puerto Rico, and everything. Real good outing by you guys. You guys actually held them 0-0 after one half and everything. So kind of break down. Maybe Coach, we'll start with you. How satisfied were you with that performance, and what more needs to be done?
Well, the first half definitely showed that our team was able to put out a good fight against the host nation, Puerto Rico, who's actually 45 places ahead of us in the FIFA rankings. So for them to have that fight throughout the entire time, it was really good showing from the entirety as a team. Going into the second half, of course, there's a bit of things that we need to start working on a bit more. And then I think with that one, it really shows that, 45 places does make a big difference. But one thing that we need to be realistic about as well is the opposition and what level that their players are playing at. So I think this is something that we look at as a program as well, and an area for us to improve, but also support our players to how do we get them there to that level as well. So when these competitions do come up against other nations like Puerto Rico, we can compete at that level.
Mm. What do you see, Coach, as far as the position players that we have, whether our wings or our forwards and everything like that? What would you say are our strengths right now, and what do you put the most emphasis on?
I think for when Nainoa and Kai were mentioning is about having that cohesion, bring everybody together. And I think for us, it's, we think about our culture on Guam. We're very familial. So with that is, how do we come together as a unit? It's not just based off of one position or 2 positions or a specific area within the team. It's us coming together as a unit to give out our best performance on this one.
Mm-hmm. And I know you always told me every time I interview you, there is something to say about home field advantage and everything like that. But how much did that weigh into the fact that when the host nation is playing and everybody is is really high on Puerto Rico right now because Bad Bunny in the Super Bowl and everything like that. How was the tempo there, and what was the energy in that stadium?
First of all, we're blessed to be able to play with an atmosphere like that. This is what we train hard every day for. Of course, there is a factor when we're in Puerto Rico's home turf. They'll have the fans behind them when they're doing good things or not. But as a player, really, it's just about focusing on on what we can do on the field and trying to block out the noise.
Mm-hmm. And then Kai, how do you guys rely, you always go back to your training, you go back to the game that you guys have been playing since you were little kids and everything. How do you actually, like, all of you guys, like, lock in and say, we know what we have to do, like, let's just go out there and play our game?
Yeah, I mean, we train, so we know the game plan. We know what we got to do to go out and perform. And, doing the interfreshing before games is kind of us saying to each other, like, let's go out there and battle.
Okay, and how much does that mean when you guys are saying, like, our interfreshing and everything, and say, like, no matter where we are in the world when we play and everything like that, we know we're going to get the best out of ourselves and we're going to take ourselves to the next level?
It definitely means a lot, yeah.
Because you guys are hype when you do that.
Yeah, it's the Mattel pride, like that's our, when we go back to the culture of Guam, like that's what our warriors would do before they go into battle. And that's exactly what we try to replicate on the pitch is, okay, we're all here together, no matter where we are in the world, because we haven't really been able to play in Guam on our home turf for the last couple of years. So, when we say that, we're coming together and we have one common goal.
Okay. Now, interesting game when you guys had the match against Puerto Rico. Like us, they're in American territory. They're like kind of like a little small island. The next match, you guys are one of our neighbors in the Pacific, and I know you guys are getting up for that game against American Samoa because you know they're looking forward to us too. So let's talk about that game and Coach, how you getting the boys ready?
I mean, going into this competition for this next match against American Samoa, definitely making some adjustments to where we need to improve on. But I think overall, we have a sense of a certain goal as a group, right? We're coming to this competition to come out with a positive result, and it's very important for us because it does affect our FIFA ranking. So from here, we look forward to putting a really great performance tomorrow and get the results for Guam.
Beyond the Game is presented by Gatorade. On the field, on the court, in the game. But what happens beyond the game? Get stories behind the stats, the players behind the plays, and the teams making an impact on and off the field. Join us every weekend on KUAM News Weekend Edition for Beyond the Game. Because sports are more than just a score. Only on KUAM, Guam's leader in sports coverage, Beyond the Game is presented by Gatorade.
Now, for a limited time, get our largest pizza at our lowest price. Just $9.99 for our classic New York-style pizza. It's 30% larger than our large, and at only $9.99 for carryout. Don't wait. Order now at your Island Pizza Hut.
And now here's your Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club shoutout sent to us on KUAM.com.
On Saturday, we have a birthday wish going out to Thomas J. Paris Cruz, celebrating birthday number 13 in 2026. Thomas J., you are getting love always from your family and the entire island community. We hope you have a great weekend. Want to wish your special someone a happy birthday? Just click the QR code here on your screen or email birthdayclub@kuam.com.
That's going to do it for us here on Weekend Edition. Visit KUAM.com or follow us at KUAM News on social media for the latest news. For now, I'm Mitsuki Hirayama. Have a safe evening.
It's the One Micronesia Show, brought to you by Bank of Hawaii. Reach your possible.
Ali, Bukithin, Hafade Zantiro, Rananim, Kasalili, Lengumo, and Yakwe. Welcome back to another episode of the One Micronesia Show. And for this one, we're keeping it on